Is it? I thought the model is about the interface, user interface.
The view would be the user interface. The view would be what you see on the screen. It's all the buttons and all of the pieces of the app do not talk to the model at all. They don't know what they're showing. They're just showing a pointer to something, and that's the controller gives them the pointer of what to show, the information to show.
Can I just treat the model as a default action for the view or audio presented in the view?
Could you make the model
in other words, there's
interact?
some default action.
What do you mean?
So the default action, without user's involvement, each view comes with its own default action. You can push, you can press, or something like that.
Yeah,
but the actual action by pressing is defined at the controller.
Exactly. When you get an action sheet that comes up that says call this person or text this person, it's just coming up with two buttons. The modal view doesn't know what it's showing or what happens when you press that button. It's being told what to show and what happens when you press it by the controller.
So let me try another one now. Let's assume I'm writing an app that plays bridge or spades or some card game. I know what the views do, right? That's pretty easy. It's laying cards out there, it's allowing you to click on them, and then sending that information to the controller. But is it the controller or is it the model that actually has the AI to understand what is a good card to play next? I'm trying to understand whether the controller is just glue to take an abstract representation of the game and apply it to the screen, or whether the model is just the data associated with the stuff that the controller then has all the smarts.
It would be more like the second, where the model would just have card information. It may have some procedures and protocols of stored protocols of best card outcome or card to choose next, but it would be the controller that actually implements them.
So the card to choose next could actually be a pretty hefty, because that's where all the AI is then for deciding how to play bridge, for instance.
Yeah, that would be
pretty hefty, and it would be in the model.
Yeah. Declare that a .h and then import it in the controller.
So if I wanted to tweak the algorithms, the automated algorithms, the computer-controlled players, I would be modifying the models.
The model, the protocols that you use later in the model.
I see.
Yeah, do a little code presentation. Just a little simple hello world to show you guys how Xcode looks and how nice Xcode works, how pretty it is.
Alright, so make a new project. Pretty much, we're just gonna make a project. We're gonna make one that we're gonna have a label, and then you gotta push it. Push it.
This one here displays.
What?
You can mirror displays. It's called.
Well, We're gonna make an app that pretty much will have a label, some text input, and a button. So when you push the button, it'll put whatever you've typed in to have whatever you've typed in. So these are the templates they give you at first. If you're going to create a graphics base, you'll be using OpenGL. The split view based application is for iPad only. It's when you turn to the side and you'll see the table view on one side and then the controller of whatever that selected item is. Tablet application, Windows based is pretty much just blank. But we'll do a view based because it gives us a window already and it gives us a nib file and a view controller for it. So we'll just do we'll do hello world demo. Sorry. So the first thing that pops up is it'll give you like supported orientations you have. It'll allow you to customize your app icons. The the boot screens you have, like when the image first comes up, they'll say like "Hello World" app kind of thing. You would put them there. They have them both for the iPhone 4 and the regular and iPad, because iPad is not Retina display. You have the two app delegates, the header file and implementation file. Implementation files always import the header files. You'll have the main window nib, which is tied to the delegate, which actually loads to view from Hello World controller. Let me move this over a little bit so you can see. You have the Hello World demo view controller, header file, implementation file, and the nib file. This is where you pretty much create your UI, is in this one right here. The implementation files pretty much, this is what they throw in all of them. The dealloc is where you deallocate your objects. Did receive memory warning is, you do certain, depending on what kind of warnings you get. View did load, this is after loading the view, like right when it loads, if you want to do anything additional, like before the user can do anything, unload, and then it should auto-rotate to interface orientation. So if you use, like, if you want to turn the phone and have it shift the view or change the view to a different type of view controller kind of thing. But, so in this app, let's see if I can
Let me stop you for just a second.
go ahead.
Let me go back to this view controller. Maybe this will clear up your question a little bit. So this is the .m of the view controller. Here, this view controller comes with a view in this nib file. So that's how it's that's how it's talking to the view. In the .m, if you wanted to import a database, or you want to import physics, or you want to import the card game, you would just import the .h file and use it here. So that's how it talks to both the model and the view independently, and the view doesn't really act directly with the model.
So first we'll just we're going to put up a label, which is just for displaying text. We'll put up a button with some text in it, and we'll put in a text edit so you can enter some text. So we'll put a label in, and they do a really nice way of helping you lay things out. Like if you want it directly in the center, they'll put a line up, or if you want it almost to the bottom of the screen or almost to the bottom right, they'll help you lay them out. So we'll just take it right in the middle there. Expand it both sides in case we decide right there. Put it in the middle. This is just they always have it. We'll leave that there for now. But it's just when the app loads, I'll show you. It'll just say label because that's the text it has when it first comes up. If you want to say insert text below, insert text below, it'll change it. And then when you first open up the app, it'll say that. We'll put a text field in, which is where you're actually going to be putting in the text. And then we'll put a button in. They also have a whole bunch of extra things like sliders, switches, activity indicators. Like if you're busy loading something, you can have this load. Like let's say while it's pulling data from a server, you can say display activity indicator view, and then when it's done, release it and take it off the view. Progress view, like if you're downloading something. Page controllers, if you have multiple views within a file. Table views.
Progress view you really have to tie into something running in the background.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like, it's not supported by Apple, but like let's say you're downloading something from the web and you're pulling the percentage, you can have the percentage tied to the progress view, and depending on it'll fill up. Image views for displaying. The table view cell is for creating custom cells, like if you want to make one with certain heights and throw buttons in there, whatever. I personally do mine programmatically because I don't like using that, but I mean that's one of the flaws, I guess. Web view, you can throw a web view in there and have it take up half the space, the whole space. Map views, scroll views is just like a little segment where you can have a little scroll field kind of thing. Ads for making money. And then these view controller, the orange ones, are actually whole controller parts for implementing, like let's say you have a window-based and you don't originally make a table-based app or a navigation controller app, you would use this along with that, and it will help you create things like that. And then views in Windows. So if we, let's see, throw some text in here. So if we boot this up, which is also really nice, is the simulator is a lot faster, like 1,000 times faster than Android, because it does not take ages to open. So you've got these three. You'll be able to enter text here. You'll be able to click the button, but it won't do anything. So I mean, you can just use the simulator to see how your div file is set up in a real world type environment kind of thing. So like if we wanted to, we can go in and do that. We can click display, but it doesn't do anything. So let's add some functionality here. In the header file, we only have to create properties for each of the three. So we'll do a property. They also have really nice auto, IntelliSense, thank you.
When you put he's putting in the memory, what he wants the controller to, that he wants the controller to retain this object, and the IB outlet is a keyword letting interface builder know that we're going to use this to hook up to the view. So this in the controller, we're explaining, we're creating an object in the controller to use in the view. So the view doesn't know what's going on. We're just going to link it up now. This is how we link it up programmatically.
So we've got all three of those. One's for the UI label, the text field, and then the button that we also put in there. So now we'll have to synthesize them into the implementation file. Yeah. Now this is going to be really short. It's going to take so we did an IB outlets, and it lets the header and implementation file know that these are going to be used in some form to when something is pushed or something is entered, you're going to be using it. So when we do, it's called IB action. It's going to say when something's pushed, we're going to be doing that. So we'll do a do push, which will tell the button when the button is pushed, it's going to use this, and I'm going to connect everything in a second, and it'll make a lot more sense. So when we enter this function, we're basically just going to be doing text field dot text equals, or sorry, label dot text equals text field. This is basically saying that we're going to set the label, the text of the label, where the enter text below is going to change to whatever we enter in the text field, whenever that button is pushed. Now, the way they do it in Xcode with this is you'll have, on the left-hand side, you'll have the objects with the label text field and the button. And it's pretty much just the file's owner is where you have it's basically the file's owner is the .h file. So you're saying, like when you go from you control click to, you drag to wherever you're going, since we have a UI label, you click it, it'll say label. That's the IB outlet that we created in the header file. So then you click that and it connects them together. And we'll do that for all three of them. It doesn't show the other two for the button and the label for text field because it's not a UI text field part. So we have push one, and so those are saying that it's going from the implementation file to this. These now have the properties of the implementation file. So let's say if we push the button, what changes the actual insert text below. And we do that by taking the button and clicking it up to the file's owner. Yeah. Oh, yeah, forgot that. Did I? No, I shouldn't have to do that. 5 seconds. Oh, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about, yeah. I didn't want to go. Yeah, my bad. There we go, okay, sorry.
Show me the properties of what happens in the different types of push.
Okay, so these are the different types of things you can set for when a button's pushed. Touch down, repeat, touch drag, enter, exit. So we're saying touch up inside. It's a weird touch up inside. I don't know why they say it like that, but that basically means like when you touch it, it'll do push. You can also do did end on exit, touch cancel, touch down. A lot of these are already predetermined. Like they have presets. Like I think there's yeah. There's ones that like if you touch outside of it, it'll cancel it. Or there's ones that if you hit next, it'll take you to the next text field kind of thing. I don't use them. So when we will run this, we can do, and then click display, and it pushes it to the top label. So just in the do push, the one line of code basically just pushes that to the top. It doesn't save it or anything. If we exited the app and came back, it wouldn't be there anymore because it doesn't save it. But this is pretty much a basic implementation of it. Cool. Any questions?
Yeah, that's it.
If you wanted to save that message, like Android use preferences, how would that work in the?
You would say that in a plist. The preferences that the Android uses, there's an iOS, something very similar to that called plist. It's like a dictionary with keys, or like a hash table with keys. Pretty much that's how you save it. Anything else?
Can you just give like a quick advantages, disadvantages compared to both Android and like what do you like better about iOS?
I can tell you what I like about iOS. Honestly, we haven't been doing too much Android programming. We kind of just moved away from that. But
Yeah.
I really like the properties thing. That's one simple thing that's really nice. The messaging has grown on me. I didn't think I'd like it at first because I knew Java. Java was great, but the messaging it seems to have grown on me. Once you start making a lot of controllers and a lot of views and using them all together, it's really nice. There's a really nice system for putting them all together, connecting them. That's something I really liked gotten into. Anything else?
So partly what you described in the controller model view is the ability to reuse code. You can reuse views, you can reuse models. Some things that prior models are maybe the operation of the database or grabbing videos or things like that, just kind of big chunks. So if you wanted to put together a new picture viewer, could you start? How could you modify what's existing, what's already there?
For a picture viewer?
Yeah, or something like that, some big component in there. If you don't like the way they handle audio, or you don't like the way they handle things like that.
There's an image.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
You want to do video editing on there, and you've got something that you've got the video sources, and you've got the ability to project the video or to view the video. But what you want to do is you want to do the kind of video editing where you see the little bar on the bottom and you cut out little snippets of it, and then you splice them all together. How hard would that be to do?
Well,
Is that strictly a controller taking models and views and putting them together, or?
it would be, for as much as the snippets part, you would implement a view that would allow you to take a selection. And then you would have, in your model, you would have the application logic of taking a snippet and doing something with it and returning a value of whatever you wanted a modified video of. And the controller implements that method from the model, and it takes the data from the controller. It displays the controller is just using the controller is just choosing the bit, and the controller uses the application logic from the model to do work on it.
So how long would it take to do something?
We haven't really got into the video framework yet.
Okay.
We got into the audio a little bit. We got our framework.
So one of the things I'm thinking about is doing a version of the voice, the video to sound field for iPhone. Any estimate on what the challenges would be there?
Do you have the logic of taking
Yeah,
the
so
sound?
certainly the logic of converting the video to sound is not particularly challenging, right? It was
Okay.
high frequencies are high in the spectrum, low frequencies are low in the spectrum, and you just sample what the light is to get the volume.
We'd have to make a custom view that would, and then a controller to. There's a nice little core animation for like a graph. I'm not sure exactly how you want to do it, but I'm guessing like the example you showed us is it would like ping on the screen.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it
I
would
mean,
show
the thing
different
about just
colors.
doing it as a graph would be.
We use core animation, which is another tool that comes with Xcode, and we would custom make that animation based on the events, the data passed back from the logic.
You talk about implementing interfaces from the model inside the controller. So the model, do you just kind of stub out the function names and everything, and actually the code that implements it in the controller?
Exactly.
So there's no code in the model on this?
No, the model is your .h and your .m files for whatever functions you want to make, but then the instance of those functions is in the controller. So you would call it, you would use those custom functions in the model in the controller to manipulate the view. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the
Okay.
model is, just
Yeah.
.h file.
It took us a little while, and it's, it seems so. You seem like you want the model to talk to the view and work directly. You want that. It seems like that's the right way to go. But after a while, it just made more sense to separate them out. And when you separate them out, we made a table view, a custom table view. But now we can use it for hundreds of different applications. Just because we stub out the data source that comes from it, and we stub out the delegate methods. So when it gets to the bottom of the table, load more data. So we have this pre-made table view class. So let's click it. It does different things.
I need to go. I need to pull the other one. Sorry.
Do you have
And
a
in the
model?
what?
Do you have the model for that one? I'm just curious.
That's just the view. That's the thing. That's the thing about that. It's just a view. There's no model for it. Now I can add any data I want in there. It's like you know how you already have that pre-made table view? We just made our own view, and now we put whatever we want in it. It's reusability that we're aiming for.
It's like making a custom list XML file, like a custom element,
Yeah.
and then you can just populate it in your Java code.
Exactly.
So we've got like this is a custom table view with custom table cells. These are all, I programmatically did this part. And it allows you to, everything with the maps implemented right now. So you can, pop it up, send email, thing like that. Which is really nice because the only thing I did was tell this to send a message, and this is all framework that's already built in. So you don't have to, add the save draft, delete draft. It does it by itself. These are just web views that I have. It uses a navigation-based controller because I don't have a button to go backwards, but I don't have enough Wi-Fi.
You get the point. We can reuse it.
Yeah, you can. I mean, this is just all I have to do is say I want to use this over and over again, because the way that the table works is it doesn't create space for all the tables. It creates a space for the first 5, and then as it goes, it'll allocate and release at the top, and as you go up and down, it will allocate and release as it goes. So, I mean, each one of these table views, each one of these cells is using this one right here. It's using the same one over and over and over again.
A good example of the model that we might use for this table, as we were watching the Stanford lectures, they have Flickr put out an API, and that would be a Flickr model that would generate the data, then give it to the controller and pass it to the table. So now you have this Flickr API and this table view that aren't directly working together, but the controller, the custom controller, is making everything happen.
So the do push, I believe you added some kind of new method, do push.
We created an ID action.
Right. So is the do push is whose capability is?
Who's capable of using that function?
Right.
Okay, that was set up in the table, the view controller, and in that view controller owns a view. It's linked to a view that we were working on in the nib file. So when we had that button, the only thing that could access that function would be the view that's in that view controller.
So do push is one of the default functions.
It would be just that was just a function you could add anything there really.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean.
It could be any name. It was declared in the header file and then linked from the button press to that function when they were stretching things. So they actually did that by just grabbing the button action and pulling it and attaching it to do press.
The question is when someone press any things on the screen,
Right.
how the OS knows?
So he actually stretched it from the button, and he stretched it up and connected it. They originally didn't do it because he didn't have it in the header. Once it had it in the header, it was the actual connection of that over that did it. I assume there's a way you can do that by just programming as well.
Yeah.
It's just not as pretty.
It's
But he grabs this button and he pulled it up to there. That was what actually connected it.
Are you saying how does it know when I'm touching outside of the button? It would know not to do anything. You can make the background touchable and make it do a custom function, but we don't want that.
Because what it does when it creates a button is it creates a frame just for that spot. And it says whenever a touch is recognized within that frame rate, like the frame range, then it will do that action. If the touch is recognized outside of the frame, it won't do that action.
But if you have more than multiple methods, then
Right.
you click something on that particular button.
Right.
Oh,
Let's
which
say you
method
have a
doesn't
do
know?
push or do release or whatever. And
Okay.
it's not gonna happen.
Link it again, and let go of it. If we had multiple methods for different buttons, there'd be a list of different functions here. But since we only created one, it's just got the one option of do push. We selected do push, but we could have do push two. That wouldn't be the right naming convention.
Go
but
to the header file and show how it's done. It's an action defined. Used to be defined right here.
Okay. That was a different one. Here we go. There you go.
It's an IB action, which is defined, so now we know do press in the header file. And in the user interface, when you selected you wanted to go to whatever it was, my controller, my app, or whatever it was, it just took and it listed all of the IP actions. These are all of the methods that are ready to receive an action from the view, right?
yeah.
So such as I want to have some different action, and you press the button or release the button.
Yeah,
But so in that case, how are you going to create those interface?
I'm gonna make another just quick little ID action.
To release something like that.
Okay, so now that I made this div press up, when I go to this display button and I press it again, I can choose from the list of events that happened. The touch up inside means you touched the button and now you released it. Now if I wanted to change it to touch down so I get the initial touch, I could drag it from the initial touch to files owner and put did push or did press up. So now it would have two independent functions for when it presses down and to when you lift up. And you might want to use this for something as make it opaque or change the name on the button or something like that.
Okay, a little housekeeping. On Wednesday, you will be presenting your